Hello, Aries. Welcome to a timeless reading of yours. What has probably intrigued you is the title, more or less. All right. This is a Justice for Aries reading. What this means is whatever ambiguity is tied to justice. I know that not that I get much traction just yet in my channels. However, I will disclose that the energies that are capitulated for this channel, which is Sekhmet, is the ruler of justice. So to be concerned of the emotional trigger in speaking justice is not of concern to the energies of Sekhmet. So please understand that with full disclosure, to take the reading and however you are participatory on watching this reading, utilizing your own discernment. Okay. What does this mean? It means that you, the onlooker of what decided to click on this reading, is admitting to something. Whether it is right or wrong is of no interest to anyone besides yourself, who has a knowing and a path, and however it is defined is in whatever decisions you'll either participate in or the decisions that are made on your behalf. So, Justice for Aries. We'll cover whatever wants to come out, all right? It is, however, just a title. Whatever brings you here. Again, there might be something here for you, whether or not you apply to Aries energy or not, or connected to it in any kind of way. It is all cumulative. Please remember, this is not a one-to-one reading, okay? You did not make a one-to-one connection with me, so this is not a personal reading. Will it, however, trigger whatever it may trigger? That is open-ended, okay? A couple of things while I get ready for the reading: that I am Master Seventh, aka Seventh, that reads these energies for you, should you want to know who she is, what she's all about. Her details can be found in the description box below. All right. A little bit of clarity onto seventh energy. I am a master healer. I don't even know if this is gonna. I need some tissues. Tissues. Issues that bring tissues. Lots of sadness. Lots of sassiness, kind of trying to punch through the bullish way, you know. Aries up for the task. Right. Bear with me one moment. I don't need to be touching my nose in a second. All right, so I mean, this is all part of the energies. However it wants to announce itself, it's the way it shows up for itself, all right? If you have no participatory action of needing to learn anything, it's not hitting you. However, if there's shit's being triggered within you, oh, welcome to this Aries energy reading, all right? Justice for Aries. However, again, it applies to you, all right? Oh, Lord. Okay, let's do this. So, please know that I am a master healer, okay, that provides remote wellness services. And I am a tarot intuitive reader. I'm already like, bzz, 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 bzz. Y'all not gonna like it, y'all not gonna like it, y'all not gonna like it. You're all gonna be like, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down. We don't need that in the algorithm. Suppress. All right. Albert Einstein's E equals MC squared is coming to mind. How controversial that is. Talk to any good conspiracy theorist. These labels intrigue me because we We use labels to get a definition, and yet we stay stuck in the label. And so we're boxing in ourselves. And it's like the Schrodinger's cat. Never knowing, are you dead or alive inside? Woo! Pardon in advance, y'all. This is gonna be maybe a little touchy-feely. This is justice. When was the last time justice was fair, was merciful? Huh? Come on, justice. Always addressing itself in ways that we just don't understand how to agree with it. Will we ever be in agreement? Who the fuck knows? But we do know that there is a system. For some reason, many of us could come into agreement of that. It's like a chokehold, huh? It's like cuts you off with the ability without even being able to say anything. Like, I want to say anything about it. You know? I want to sip this tea, but it's too hot still. I'll move on to something else. It's not working for you. Whatever you think you're doing, it's just not working for you. Okay? Some of y'all have been like enthralled in spiritual rituals, dotting your I's and crossing off your T's, and something's just not making itself manifest in your favor. I turned the word behavior into favor because you're not really paying attention to your behavior, but then you're going to come up with so many excuses as to why your behavior is the way it is, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, but hush, little baby, don't say a word. There is a mini chaos happening here, and some of y'all are going to be infected by this because you're like, nah. Like, you're fishing, seventh, you're fishing. Far reaching. You don't have to go there. It doesn't have to be that deep. It's my favorite. You don't have to take it so personal. It's so funny to me that if I'm the only one in the vicinity and all the direction of the senses of the person is looking at me and they're talking to me, it's like, and then the reply is, you don't have to take it so personal. It's like, well, who else who are you talking to? The flesh of me is personal. All right, so this is minor and major to the issue. It is minor to you not maybe being able to agree, or egos might clash. You and somebody else's ego might clash, and you just don't really understand why, or maybe you don't want to admit. Let's see how it goes. See how it wants to flow. But some of you are like drowning in the misery and can't bring yourself to accept that there are wounds that need to be addressed if you really want to detox the shit that makes you the truest of true sad. And some of y'all want to be a functioning sad person. So you want to sign up to the shit that you signed up for, and you want to function, and you want what you put in to be reciprocated back in what you do give. And that's merciful, because you're admitting that you don't want to go in too deep, but you're entertain it just enough to understand that you're not going to suppress it and ignore it. You're going to allow it to feed you in a direction, even if the direction is what you think is away from the situation. You're meeting what I would say in the eye of seeing your resistance, the resistance of which you and your ego and your soul may have absolutely no idea about. You don't see it, or maybe you do see it. The ambiguity. All that conversation, the minor aspect of living, and not to belittle the issues that float up to the surface, then you're going to have to see whether or not, oh no, I want to get rid of that. The ego will have to learn the emotional self will have to purge. And this is going to be at the cost of what the ego don't like. Not for this Aries energy. Alright. It is not about it being righteous, y'all. Okay, it's not about being righteous. We're not trying to say that hearing you talk or not hearing you talk is a form of righteousness. It is the diminishing fact of thinking that the vessel of you has to second guess themselves for existing. And the excuses that come in the way of the reasons as to why you believe in some way you need more encouragement or validation in the questioning of self. That's moving along in a form of security and insecurity all at the same time. So it's not about justice. Justice reading and justice is in the room. It's not about, again, the emotions. Because how many of y'all, or do you know someone, or you yourself have been in a position where justice did not care to give its ruling on whether or not how you felt about it? And a bigger spectrum, that's like the cause of a lot of the conscious war battles that are happening in this timeline of Earth and those participatory in it. Alright, so with justice being here, it's saying you don't really need to see clearly in order to understand that justice will work in your favor. But the way you define justice to show up in your life, and the way that justice will define itself in your life, two separate learning curves. One will trigger the heart, the other will trigger the emotional intellectual part. And both are needed to understand the language of the mind and the heart, and what the mind thinks with the heart, and what the mind thinks with the heart. With the mind thinks with the heart? Yeah, the mind, because I'm saying the mind of the heart here, and the mind of the heart here, not the heart here. Because the mental cannot be emotional. It's reactionary. This is emotional. So both sectors have a mental. One, however, only has a heart, which is here. And the mental is covering all of it, which the heart we give so much credit to, which is true. However, it is not the credit to be given all of it to. And to give that the highest form of do justice is to marriage them two together. Merge them with marriage of two together. This is where in this niche we would talk about femininity and masculinity, where femininity is masculine feminine, masculinity is feminine and masculine. And the side of justice of the scale would usually have the heart. And then the other side would, in depiction most that we symbolically could agree to, would have the feather, depending on what the image wants you to have as some form of an acknowledgement to try to understand the rulings of justice via symbolism, is that what we think is heavy as the heart, which looks imperceptibly heavier than a feather, are in equal placement. So that means they share the same weight. It's like, what weighs heavier, a pound of potatoes or a pound of feathers? And most people would think, oh man, potatoes, maybe. Or most people would think, it doesn't matter what most is. Most isn't defined in density. In the aspect of learning that via Reiki modalities, a great first step is that to have something of mass within is density. So you're weighted. Which in the argument of the scale of justice, To have a heavy heart is to sink down and to drown. And you don't want to encourage that behavior. You want to encourage the embers of emotions to allow themselves to burn, but not burn out so that you lose sight of what gives them the oxygen to vibrate and be glowing and be infectious and loud and roaring. Aries fire energy. True justice and the way that it can show up in your doorsteps of learning. The difference between the mental of the heart and the mental of the mind and how they share symbiosis is to accept that the justice doesn't work in your favor to appease your emotions or to hold your hand to try to define logic of the journey of the waves. For that, there is no intelligence other than maybe human intelligence to be able to binary fact check the reason with data and analysis and hypothesis to bring some sort of uniformity to a logical desire to wanting to find out information. When you work with too much logic, though, you lack or can lack, or the heat of caution could be there, that you are not empathic because you're too logical. You can't be emotive, or you might not come across as somebody emotive, maybe is what I'm hearing, okay? Yet, if you maybe take a step back and try to create a third-party awareness of both degrees, maybe the third party will recognize, like, oh, maybe isolated to bring their own form of beauty, but their magic is how they work together. That's even greater. And how can I, as the third party, teach that to the variables that I see in front of me that maybe amongst themselves, through the chitter and the chatter and the gossip and the chaos and responsibilities and who choose who loves me, all these variables that life can come at you, and what your emotions become possibly triggered by. How do I bring clarity that, oh, wait a minute, this is not chaotic because I need to fear it. It's not chaotic because it's trying to give me danger. It's chaotic because I haven't been able to define that all of them can bring something to the table. And that's maybe the Grand Master idea of what's behind this energy, which you think you cannot see. But this whole entire time, it's been somewhat working in your favor in a degree that you'll have to give it an ambiguous credibility to. How it will land to you is up to the maturity of self and the maturity of mental aptitude you give yourself credit to disciplining yourself as you grow and learn and expand the very, very many ways that life has itself to offer to you and you to it. And also keep the ego at check by being compassionate with yourself and empathic with yourself, so that you never forget to also be that and with fluidity with other people. All right. Let's see. What else we got? Ooh. All right, we have Taurus energy, number 2. Being able to really embrace the reactions that your emotions are trying to teach you, by allowing their bullish ways to introduce themselves in bullish ways, and that you learn how to stand up to your own versions of your own bully. In doing so, you naturally learn how to tame the shadow aspect of Aries energy in a way that you can also accept, in being Aries or connected to that energy, the will to surrender into that position of power, because this is an empowerment at the same time. And to give yourself the permission to say that with sensitivity will allow you, if you haven't already been this honest and emotional with the closest people with you, those are the savoring relationships that you get to be loyal to and loyal with. I'm seeing that this energy also is an energy to trust business with. This will resonate for whomever this will resonate with, all right? Remember that. Okay, we have waxing crescent, so motivation. So, man, all right. I will never knock someone down for being their most authentic expression of who they are. I will, however, be interested to tickle at any possible blemishes as the need to mock somebody else. Aries is a lot of energy as like fake it till you make it. You know, looking at other people's motivations and being motivated by that, possibly being motivated by anger and pain, and be that the driving force to, you know, you can't fix your emotional problems that easily, but sure as hell money can get that dinner on the table and the date for next Friday. You know, like, money has a seemingly faster transactional consequence that is far more enticing for an injured soul of any kind to participate in, because it's a form of addiction. Money is a form of addiction. It's not just survival, all right? It's beyond that, because some of us don't feel that we are a free bird by having to oblige by the societal standards of expression or even motivation, or what it means to realign oneself, to be in gratuitous moments or gratuitous mentality. You know, not everyone will love every leader. Not everyone will agree with everyone in a state of position of power. How do you teach discipline as being a great motivator while also addressing anger that it might be entertained by? Because I'm not also claiming that everyone's just motivated because of pain. That's not it. However, I am claiming that part of the Aries energy motivation of moving forward and bullishing through is the damnation that nothing is going to stop me from what it is that I'm going to get to, first and foremost. Okay, that's that. I'm going to make it through. And even if I'm going to be rebellious in doing it because I need to bullish through and make it through, you're always going to be opening up so many beautiful pathways because you're entertaining a true personality trait within you. And in doing so, it naturally brings a subtle symbiosis of what shadow work, which is very important in healing, And healing work, which is very important to understand, you don't just only subscribe to, is then braided together and giving you, hopefully, a moment to be humble and realize no one's perfect. And just because when it heals, it does the healing, it chooses healing and possible affirmations. Nothing's fucking always positive. And just because someone can have very little money doesn't mean they're emotionally in that same bankruptcy. Life and the living is not justified in the moment of monetary means. And that's what's so important with accepting. How do you then, Aries, get that bullish energy to create the path as the first astrological sign to do that in your annual calendar in a way? How do you become that trendsetter for not only yourself but everyone else that can follow that path because you cleared it for them? What is the driving force for you to do that? And why is it that sometimes maybe it comes across that you love being this type of person that is in full control, burning down whatever you need to because you just need to. And again, this burning does not mean you're just burning negative, because there can be a lot of things that can get you motivated and impassioned to do things. It could also just be that all this distraction, yeah? But you just push through. And whatever that takes to push through is an intrigue that naturally rubs off of other people, that if you shine as bright as you do, then you give other people also permission to shine as well. Yet if you mock other people's brightness and you glow in that, and then you mock somebody else's, you are diminishing your glow of value in the perspective of other people, and then they start questioning you. And that's where I think that challenging part of who do you have these relationships with, and how are these relationships defined with how much time and space do you give these individuals? And where are they in that rule of justice in your universe? Are they in your home, and outside of home? Are they at work? Are they at social events? Are they in your mind? What is that relationship that you're tied to? And how does it become the ultimate savoring aspect of the motivation you need to always answer the call of rebellion and feel free as a bird in doing so? All right, this message will be forever it is. All right, I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, whenever you are listening to this reading and all that jazz. Take care.